All right, let's just get right into it. So you're going to take your cap off the tube, and your plug, there's going to be a plug with a hole in it. Now, there's a couple ways that this can be done. I decided, just to see what it would be like, to take the plug out, pull all the plastic out. I don't really recommend going that route. I mean, you can if you want to. But what I would suggest is sticking like a weighted object on a string through that hole, all the way down to through the follower, and you can pull the string through the follower and then put like a bigger object on the end of the plug there, pull it down through the follower so you have a few inches of space to work with, and then tie the string around, I don't know, the trigger guard or the stud for the sling or something like that. I'll post a link to a video of a guy that did another modification on a different gun, and he did pretty much exactly that. But what I'll show you is sort of what I think is the hard way, which is taking out this plug, and then the spring comes out, and then you can then cut a couple threads off. So let's get going. What we're going to need is some tape, a hacksaw, a square, some sandpaper, a wood dowel, a paper towel, and a file. All right, so I'm just trying to get the plug out with a little screwdriver here. I get some of it out, and then I try to do the rest of the way with some pliers. These ones didn't work too well, so I decided to go to some needle nose pliers. I'm just going through this quick for you guys. It's kind of a really big pain in the butt to try and get this crazy thing out. This is why I recommend the other route, pulling it through with the string. So I got it out, and going to just prep it for some cutting. So what I did was I just taped masking tape around it, square around the tube. You can use a little like hose clamp too. They're about 99 cents at a hardware store if you want it super straight. I did 2 threads worth of cutting off. You do want to get the lip off for sure, so that the spring doesn't catch, and then you stuff a paper towel in there to contain the shavings. I just held it freehand on a box, and I just cut it off along the tape. It's a bit crooked. At this point, I think if you really want to make sure that's going to be a tight fit with the extension, I would put the barrel back on. Try and screw the +1 on and make sure it'll be tight against the barrel ring. Otherwise, you're going to need to take more thread off. Let's go to filing. So what you're going to want to do is just continually check it as you're filing it. Make sure you keep the tube horizontal, not vertical. If you do vertical, shavings are going to go into your action, and that's a big old mess that you don't want to deal with. Once you have it perfectly square, we can move on to sanding the inside of the tube with some sandpaper. What I did was just use 100 grit with a wood dowel. You can use pretty much any round object. Use something soft like plastic or wood, so that as you go into the tube, you don't want to scratch the inside. It's probably not a big deal if you do. I didn't want to scratch it, so I used wood. And it worked really good for what I used it for. Make sure you just get rid of the sharp edges, make it nice and round as much as you can. You can spend as much time on this step as you want to get it as polished as you want and as smooth as you want. At this point, once you're done with this step, clean up the threads, take the paper towel out, get all the shavings out. You can spray some oil down the tube if you want from inside the action out the tube. And then screw the +1 on. If the +1 does not go all the way to the barrel ring, nice and tight, you're going to have to file off a bit more tube to tighten up that fit. But other than that, it should work perfectly.